Hey everybody, Mike Pfeiffer with Pfeiffer Hobby Supply. Today we're going to do update 47 on the ACT3 and see what I've been up to again. Hope you don't get bored of this. But anyways, I'm having some fun right now with this. I haven't had much time, but I'll show you what I'm doing. Okay guys, before we get started, I know everybody in the country's having crummy weather. But I always, I don't know if on the videos I have referred to it, but occasionally I refer to the New Mexico mudstorms. And this is what I'm referring to. I cleaned all three of these vehicles plus the camp trailer the day before yesterday, and yesterday we had about 2,000 drops of water and 60 to 65 mile an hour wind. Today we've got about, it looks like about 40 to 45 possibly. But this is what happens in the New Mexico mudstorms. Also the other day, a couple days ago, same day I washed the cars, I bought a new bracket and flag for the holiday. Well, as you can see, or maybe you can't see, you guys probably don't know, but that bracket is bent down by about 2 feet from my eave of my house, and it used to be right up against the eave of the house. Flag made in the United States. I checked that out when I bought it. Hardware in the box, made in China. Does it show? Okay, gang. As you can see down here, I don't remember in the last video, I don't think I had all this track ballasted. And I'm not sure I had this little bit of temporary scenery in the middle there. I dug out this little boxcar storage facility. I think I'm going to put it in there somewhere, but I'm not exactly sure that it's going to go right there, but somewhere in that area. And then you can see that I have my caboose track kind of filled up with cabooses, right? Cabazas right now, but I don't know how many of them are going to stay there. I just wanted to see what it looked like. Nevertheless, let me pan in a little bit over there on the other side by the cattle pen. Okay, as you can see here, I put in a grain distributor, or a grain and feed distributor there. I thought it would go good with the cattle pen being next door. And of course I had those two structures already built from the previous layout. There's some box cars either loading or unloading there, probably loading. You can see the red marks that I have, let me see here, right over there. Those red marks were when I placed the building there. There's going to be a road that has to come down there and be in front of that business there. So I will add that pavement later on when I get some more structures in, and I can bring the road down to you guys' right side there a little more later on when I get some other stuff in. I have a very short train sitting on the siding, or the bypass basically. The track just to the right of that train with the two GP30s on it is the track that goes through and goes underneath the tunnel over there and winds up going in the valley between the bridge and that mountain over there, and is the track to the outside world, or the interchange section. The interchange can take place on these tracks over here, or I can leave cars out there around the corner to be interchanged or added or removed from the layout. I don't know if you remember that track over there, but I'll try and take the camera over there and point down at it. Okay, here you can see that piece of curved track. It comes through the tunnel right over there, goes around this pretty sharp curve right there, which you don't ever see, comes out into this more or less slightly curved section and goes into a tunnel portal over here back in about 3 inches. Like I say, that'll just be an interchange track, a place for run out, kind of just a general purpose track. And right now, that's the only plan for it. However, I left myself open, and I don't want to throw anything out there or nothing and make people think I'm going to expand the layout. But I could come out the back over here with that track and go around and make a staging track over here on this shelf. But I don't want to waste that shelf space, at least right now. Maybe something to be thought of in the future. Not really sure. It's just an idea, and that was the original plan for taking it into a tunnel portal right there, is it goes underneath this other track and could come out on the back of the masonite over there onto that shelf. Not saying it will, just saying it could. So that track comes back around, and you can see how it ties back into everything right over here. Okay. Okay, another thing I've been doing is I've been taking some cars off the layout because I have way too many cars for the space I have. I'm also going to try and limit the layout here to 40-foot cars, with maybe the exception of some flat cars or gondolas. So I think I may be getting rid of all my 50-foot cars, but I'm not real positive about that either. But as you can see, I've decluttered the yard. I've also been working on making sure that all of these switches to all these sidings work and have power through them. That's been quite a challenge. This building right here, I don't know, I got it in an estate sale. It's a built-up Woodland Scenics building. When I get it out here with all my weathered buildings, it kind of looks a little bit hokey. I might try and dull it down. I don't know if I'll use it out here. I don't know if I'll name it something else and make it become something else. It's certainly small enough to use out here. But let me show you one more thing as long as we're on the yard here, what I've been doing. Okay, another thing that you may have noticed when I came in on this over here is that I added a Microtrains uncoupler over there. Before everybody jumps all over me, I know, I don't ever really recommend using them. We use Rick's picks to disconnect out here, but occasionally you can get one of those to work if you take the time to make all of your Microtrains couplers and so forth on all your cars the right height, the trip pin the right height, and make sure that you've lubricated them with the graphite, the dry graphite. So we're gonna, I put them in there because I don't want to have to put them in later. And if they're in there, it doesn't really hurt anything, even if I don't use them. But I decided to go ahead and add them while the track was not ballasted. So if I swing the camera without making you sick over here, you can see that I've added one there on that siding. I've added one right over there on that siding. And if we were to go on down here, you could see that I've added one on that siding. Let's see here. On that siding, way down there. And that siding, way down there. So anyways, yes, I put them in just in case I am able to use them. Okay, here we are back on the other end again, and as you can probably see, I said I was going to cut a little road in going up to those abandoned houses. You can see that I've done that. I have also added a hobo. I've added some windmill blades, a couple of abandoned vehicles, a couple of trees, and also raised up the plaster there where the houses are sitting, and put foliage all around and put in some yuccas over here, some static grass, some bushes, and so far I kind of like the look of it. I don't know if I'm done doing ground cover on these areas. I haven't used any kind of sand or anything. You can see that I put some stuff under the billboards, more yuccas coming around over here. Also put some foliage on this side, or the near side of the road, Another thing we might as well show here, I put some stuff down here along the edge of the river. A little bit of stuff. I'm going to wait till I get some different colors, and then I'm going to put some more along the edge of the stream or the river. Let me swing you back without trying to make you dizzy. The road can probably use another touch-up job now that I've kind of screwed it up a little bit. Here is the other abandoned building, home. Let me pan out just slightly here. And you can see that I've once again added a derelict vehicle out there in front with no wheels or anything on it, sitting on the ground. I've got the building in there, some yuccas, some bushes, and so forth. Now what I need to work on doing is continuing that theme on around all the way, you know, back over here where you've all seen 100 times before. Aside from that, that's kind of pretty much it, really. Oh, I did add some yuccas and stuff back out there where I put in the horse riders. There's a couple of yuccas, and I put in some bushes over there. Just trying to blend that in. I'm probably going to add one more yucca or something out there to tie in that middle section, maybe the smallest yuccas that I have, kind of create a forced perspective towards the lake area. Probably no yuccas over in there. It's getting too close to the lake to have that kind of stuff. I don't know either. I mean, I know I've showed you the mine over there. I don't know if we went in close on that, but now you'll be able to see that we have the abandoned houses in and the abandoned mine and its house, its adjoining house. And if I haven't showed you before, now you can kind of compare how that looks with these guys. And the little road. And let me swing you around here to this guy. So I hope that gives you some idea of the concept of where we're going. I just noticed something too. I still haven't put my ballast up to the center piece of pavement going across between the two tracks, but I'll eventually remember it and get to it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else new, and I don't think there's one other thing else out here that's new. I'm trying to also think of where I'm going to head next, or what I'm going to do next out here, and I just don't have any ideas there either. Let me just talk about one other thing real quick here. Okay, as you all can see here, this area, I think I've discussed it, is going to be designated as a little town area. I'm going to try and stick with a bunch of real small structures like these in particular, and try and put a lot of trees in there. A lot of these old communities in New Mexico like this, there's always a lot of big trees and always a lot of say junk cars parked around, a lot of old stuff, you know, in the yards and that kind of stuff. That's kind of the look I'm going to be going for. There's always a church. Don't know if I'm going to use that. I think we discussed the church, but I don't know if I'm going to use that little church. Maybe a couple of businesses in there. Got to have a store for some kind of groceries and things. Don't know how that's going to pan out. Pretty much these buildings where the trading post are going to stay there. Don't know whether I'm going to put that as the grocery store, that white building that you see way back there. Don't know if that's going to stay. I got to get all this stuff painted. All looks really ugly, and I have a hard time visualizing when it's all white. I've got a couple of water tanks back there that may go up on the top of the hill back there, or I may just put in a pretty good size, like a city water tank. But that's all going to be housing back in there, and maybe even extending over on this side. I was trying the bowling alley in there. I think it's a little bit too big to go in there. If I trim off some of it, it might work, but I still think it looks too ginormous in there. Don't know about the bowling alley. I think it's too big for this this layout, but we'll see. And then, as I've discussed 100 times, industry's going on down this way on all these sightings that I just got done showing you, that I have the 032's magnets put in there. I think you're all up to date on everything else out here, guys. I still haven't done anything with putting the power supply for my lift pin, my hill retainer, or handbrake if you want to call it that. Here's another thing I found out. I have had a couple of these sprinkler caps here, pop off. As I push on them, they pop off the backside. So I'm thinking that I may have to go in around this. There's an edge right here around these things. May have to go in there with some super glue, fill that in. And if I do that, I may wind up sanding those off flush so that I can paint them. And I'll swing around and show you one that I have painted, although I have not glued it in like I'm talking about. But let me show you real quick. Okay, here's one that I just painted the edge without any kind of sanding or anything. That happens to be the gate for the junkyard. But I kind of like the way it tones down the stark whiteness by just painting that outer lip. I may do that on all these, I don't know. But the first thing I got to make sure is that I can figure out a way, and it could be that I just didn't use enough hot glue on those when I put them in, or somebody over pushed them or something. I mean, anything can happen. But that's the game plan, and I suppose that's about it. So I guess we'll probably talk to you next time. Okay, gang. I hope you enjoyed the update 47. And as usual, thanks for watching.